Now you people may not know who I am, but after tonight, you won't be able to forget my name. Now I know many of you were here to see people like Superstar Bill Dundee, people like Beautiful Bobby, and I couldn't care less. See, people like Bill Dundee and Bobby Eaton, they mean nothing to me. Those people are the past, and you're looking at the future. Tonight, I have an invitational tournament. That means I have to beat 2 guys. For me, that's not all. So you people, you came to see Bobby, you came to see Bill, I don't care. Because tonight, after I'm done, you people will be begging for more. Shut up!
My name is Brian Thompson, and you're watching RCW Ringside Edition TV right here on Fidelity Local 6. Glad to have you with us on a new concept in professional wrestling. We will be here each and every first Sunday of the month at 10 a.m., followed by a Wednesday 9:30 p.m. replay. So if you miss us on the first Sunday morning, you have another chance the Wednesday night following the first Sunday at 9:30 p.m. And we are going to introduce you to the superstars of Ringside Championship Wrestling. We are an organization that has existed off and on since 2010, but we are now ramping things up for the biggest year in the history of Ringside Championship Wrestling, 2017. And we're certainly honored and privileged to have you with us and to be a part of it. On this broadcast, we're going to introduce you to 4 super athletes here in Ringside Championship Wrestling. You saw one at the top of our program. He is a young man known as the epitome of sports entertainment. His name is Jeremy Moore, and as you heard by his comments, he is very, shall we say, full of himself and confident in his abilities inside a pro wrestling ring. You will see him in action this week as he takes on Danny Dollar in the first round of the RCW Cherry Valley Invitational Tournament held back in May of 2016 in Cherry Valley, Arkansas. But before we get there, we're going to another first round match in that particular tournament. It was Dream Killer Eric Wayne as he faced Gary Roosevelt Graham. Strap those seatbelts. Ringside Championship Wrestling is here. This is RCW Ringside Edition TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. It is round 1 of the Cherry Valley Invitational Tournament. Your referee for this contest is Mid-States Promotions and RCW official, Danny Jackson. Now, introducing first to my left, from Boone County, Arkansas, weighing 222 pounds, Gary Roosevelt Graham. And his opponent in the corner to my right, from Pensacola, Florida, he is a third-generation superstar, weighing 219 pounds, the Dream Killer, Eric Wayne.
Brian Thompson, ringside here with you. RCW Unfinished Business. It is the Cherry Valley Invitational Tournament. First round matchup in the tournament. 4 incredible athletes have been selected. We will talk about that throughout this matchup. But the first match in the tournament, Dream Killer Eric Wayne to your left. On the right-hand portion of your screen, Gary Roosevelt Graham. And hold on. Each man has the dog collar chain that Gary Roosevelt Graham brings to ringside with him. However, this, fans, is not. It is not a dog collar chain match, so I don't know exactly what's going down here. Now, come on, gentlemen. Danny Jackson, referee, is going to have to get in there and get this chain. He may be having flashbacks to Starrcade 83 or something, thinking that, there you go, good. We got the chain out of play here. We're going to have a one-on-one contest. Wait a second, Eric Wayne. Eric Wayne tried to outsmart Gary Graham. Did not work. As you see the Dream Killer on the floor, a third-generation wrestling superstar. The winner of this matchup will go on to the finals of the 2016 Cherry Valley Invitational to face the winner of the matchup between Jeremy Moore, the epitome of sports entertainment as he calls himself. His opposition will be Danny Dollar. Gary Roosevelt Graham, unorthodox. Certainly an exciting athlete, and actually in this situation we have 2 wrestlers who are liked by the fans, so shall be interesting to see exactly where the fans fall from a support scenario. Nice shake of the hands there. We're going to see sportsmanship, and that's exactly what Ringside Championship Wrestling is all about. Glad to have you with us here on RCW Home Video. Exclusive action as part of this Home Video Unfinished Business 2016. Eric Wayne going to work on the left arm and shoulder. Gary Graham quickly able to reverse. Some nice chain wrestling at the outset of this matchup. Again, the very prestigious Cherry Valley Invitational Tournament Championship hangs in the balance. The winner advances to the final to face either Jeremy Moore or Danny Dollar. Eric Wayne maintaining the side headlock on Gary Graham despite all efforts of Graham. You saw right there what Graham was trying to do. Looks like he had maybe a handful of hair, maybe the nose, whatever. Gary Graham, a man who is, you're taking a look at 2 well-seasoned athletes. Gary Graham has been in this business a good 12, 13 years or more, and has had quite the success at various levels, including a stint on national television with a traditional promotion. So he knows what it's like to compete at a high level, as does Eric Wayne. And Eric Wayne, for that matter, keep in mind, being a third-generation wrestling superstar, all the way back to his granddad, you know, the great promoter, the late, great Buddy Wayne. So Eric Wayne was around his grandfather, father, third-generation star who, you know, literally each weekend growing up, he was somewhere near a wrestling ring. So he was like I understand, I've heard stories, he was a baby even crawling around in a ring. So he feels right at home in that squared circle as he maintains the side headlock. Ringside Championship Wrestling certainly glad to bring the action and excitement of our brand of professional wrestling and sports entertainment to wonderful fans throughout this country and certainly the rural parts of America, such as Cherry Valley and Cross County, Arkansas. You can always log on to Ringside Championship Wrestling's official website, RCW Ringside. Like our Facebook page, it's facebook.com/RCW Ringside. Follow us on Twitter at, guess what, RCW Ringside. And of course our YouTube page. So certainly a number of ways you can keep up with Ringside Championship Wrestling. Find out exactly where we're going to be, when and where and how, as Gary Graham, maybe Gary Graham didn't have his Scooby snacks. I know, comedian. Oh, look at this. Gary Graham trying to bite the hand. Or he's not trying, he was biting the hand of Eric Wayne, who retaliates in the only way he knows how, with a handful of hair.
Referee Danny Jackson telling Eric Wayne, I'm not going to give you the victory here. I've warned the man. Danny Jackson, referee for this battle between Eric Wayne, who's talking some trash right now, and the opponent, Gary Roosevelt Graham, again winner. Goes on to the finals of the Cherry Valley Invitational, and wait a minute, Eric Wayne had that chain. We thought we got rid of the chain, and now wait a minute, just like before, Eric Wayne, this time, after the bell has sounded, where a pinfall will be allowed, look at this leapfrog. Oh, wait a minute, leapfrog attempt by Eric Wayne, and well, oh man. Well, I don't think anybody, especially the males watching this broadcast, need any explanation there. Eric Wayne went for a leapfrog, and he took it in no man's land right there. The head of Gary Roosevelt Graham connected with the groin of Eric Wayne, and man, that did some damage to the third-generation wrestling superstar, who's saying, give me a minute here, ref. Give me a minute, guys. Eric Wayne going to roll back in. Certainly the athletes, and you don't like to see a situation like this. You certainly wish all the guys well and want to see them compete. And
don't give him ideas.
Have a fair match. Even Gary Graham is showing his concern. We talked about these guys. They shook hands at the onset of this matchup. Two sportsmen just want to compete, each trying to climb that ladder of success. And I know Gary Graham would not wish an injury of this nature, a groin injury or any injury upon his opponent, but he is going to try to take advantage. I mean, he does have to compete. He is going for the same goal as Eric Wayne, who's going to try to Irish whip now hard, come in on Gary Graham, but look at that, again, the groin. Probably like not to go into grave detail on groin injuries. For any of those of you who have ever had one, you know that it's like an electric shock in your system. And I'm sure if that's the damage, if he pulled that groin as a result of the head connecting, then Eric Wayne probably was starting to run, and just the movement of the legs, it's like that electricity shot up into his groin area, and let's just say it does not feel good. Eric Wayne going to go behind here. Gary Graham on atomic drop, and that kind of nailed the tailbone of Graham, who's showcasing that hurt right here. Irish whip, no, a reversal by Gary Graham, who catches Eric Wayne with an inverted atomic drop, and you want to add insult to injury. That move right there certainly may have done the trick. Eric Wayne grimacing in pain. Referee Danny Jackson is going to ask Eric Wayne, are you able to continue? Can you compete here? Evie, yeah, look at the look on the face of Danny Jackson, the referee. He knows that Eric Wayne suffered right there from that inverted atomic drop after if the groin's already damaged. I'm not laughing at him. I'm certainly just, the situation is what it is. Now wait a minute, Gary Graham getting a little more vicious in here. Maybe he has seen his opening, realizes that as much as Eric Wayne deserves a chance to have a fair chance to compete, he's not the man who pays Gary Graham's bills. Gary Graham has to pay his own bills, and the winner of the matchup in any match always gets the bigger share of the purse, and certainly you want to advance on to a tournament as prestigious as the RCW Cherry Valley Invitational Tournament, and that's what they're battling for here. Gary Graham trying to whip Eric Wayne out of the corner. To no avail a second time. Eric Wayne able to get a vice-like grip on that top rope. Move down. Look at this. Oh, Wayne moved out of the way. Wayne moved out of the way. And Gary Graham caught the top rope right in the rib cage. And now it's Gary Graham in a bad situation here. We're going to get a shot. There we go. Great camera work by our officials here at RCW on the camera crew. And Gary Graham, he may have shattered a rib there. He's holding his rib cage area, reaching out, even trying to get the fans to tag in and help him out. Well, the fans, sorry guys, we tell the fans even before our events that you're not allowed to touch a wrestler or get in the ring, and so that one may have tagged in. That young man, he's not of age. You have to be a certain age to wrestle. He's certainly not that age. Let's just put it that way. Gary Graham is going to have to collect his thoughts, maybe knock the wind out of himself, especially if he did crack the rib. Those cables are unforgiving. Those ropes are cables. They're just covered with a coating. They will hurt. When you hit them, they do not feel good. Let's just put it that way. Look at this. Inside cradle. 1, 2, and 3. Eric Wayne took advantage of the injury to Gary Graham. And it will be the Dream Team of Eric Wayne advancing to the finals of the Cherry Valley Invitational Tournament. Eric Wayne, he took advantage. An unfortunate situation. We'll see if Wayne can still compete. He's still hurting bad.
Wrestling fans in Lebanon, Missouri, get ready for RCW Speedway Slim coming live to the Lebanon I-44 Speedway Saturday, May 6th. Gates open at 6 p.m. It's $15 admission to see 3 big wrestling matches plus all the racing excitement of the Lebanon I-44 Speedway. And what a great special guest we have making a special appearance, WWE Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Your chance to meet him live Saturday, May 6th at Lebanon I-44 Speedway, plus 3 incredible matches featuring Trevor Murdoch, Lucy Mendez, Superstar Steve Fender, Stacey O'Brien, Brandon Espinoza, and the High Flying Air Raid. All this a part of the big event live Speedway Slam Saturday, May 6th. Gates open at 6 p.m. 3 big wrestling matches, all the racing excitement of Lebanon I-44 Speedway, plus meet a WWE Hall of Famer, all for one low price of $15.
Attention Little Rock, on Saturday, April 8th, Mid-States Promotions presents CWA Wrestling's Rebuilding the Montgomerys at the Maumelle Event Center with a bell time of 7 p.m. You will see a huge double main event as Hacksaw Jim Duggan teams with Americos to face Genetic Perfection, and Arkansas natives collide for the gold when NWA World Champion Tim Storm with Lily defends against Loverboy Matt Riviera with Boyd Bradford, and the OMGs Barrett Brown and Greg Anthony will be in action, and much more. Tickets start at just $12 and are available at CWAtickets.com by calling the number on your screen now, or at the Maumelle Event Center or Marco's Pizza of Maumelle. It's CWA Wrestling's Rebuilding the Montgomerys, Saturday, April 8th at the Maumelle Event Center with a bell time of 7 p.m. Tickets available now. Be there!
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee for this contest is Mid-States Promotions and RCW official William Gibson. Introducing first in the corner to my left, he comes to us from his summer residence in Hollywood, Florida, weighing 186.7 pounds with a 9.76% body fat. He is the NWA Mid-South Unified Champion. I give to you the epitome of sports entertainment, Jeremy Moore. And here's an opponent in the corner to my right, coming to us from Memphis, Tennessee. He weighs 245 pounds, Danny Dollar. Ladies and gentlemen, it must be noted that the winner of this match will advance to the finals of the Cherry Valley Invitational Tournament to face the Dream Killer, Eric Wayne.
And Jeremy Moore informing ring announcer Douglas Hart to make an announcement. What's this going to be?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Moore would like for me to tell each and every one of you that you are to shut up, do not make any noise, don't cheer for Danny Dollar, or he'll take his title belt and go back to Hollywood, Florida.
Wait a minute, what arrogance from the epitome of sports entertainment, Jeremy Moore, having ring announcer Douglas Hart tell these wonderful fans in Cherry Valley, Arkansas, not to cheer for Danny Dollar, not to make any noise. If the fans do, Jeremy Moore claims he will leave town and go back home to Hollywood, Florida. And quite frankly, I think a lot of these fans in attendance here at RCW Unfinished Business 2016 would like that to happen. Wait a minute. Danny Dollar. Now that is the NWA Mid-South Unified Heavyweight title that Jeremy Moore at this time owns. And this, however, is not a title match, but Danny Dollar thinks, hey, I think I'll go home with this title. Again, not an official match for that particular championship, but it is a first-round match in the RCW Cherry Valley Invitational Tournament. As you have seen, Dream Killer Eric Wayne victorious. He has advanced to the finals. He is actually sitting back in the locker room area on a monitor watching this right now to find out who he will face in the tournament final. And either way you go, it's going to be a tough challenge. You're talking about two athletes like Danny Dollar, the man you see on the right-hand part of your screen, looking to cinch in and go to work here, but Jeremy Moore, who is, well, strutting his stuff, hashtag handsome, as it says on the back of his tights. A seasoned athlete. Both these men have been around. They're no strangers to ring competition, so these aren't two rookies in their first or second match. You're taking a look at veterans, so it's all a matter of who dictates the pace. As Jeremy Moore upset, telling referee William Gibson, the man pulled my hair. Referee William Gibson checking around the fans, seeing if they saw something that he didn't see, and they informed Mr. Gibson, no, we didn't, as there was not a hair pull. The epitome of sports entertainment taking on Danny Dollar. Dollar's probably going to have the weight advantage here. He does. He has a good 45, 50 pounds on Jeremy Moore. But Moore, I think, will be a little bit quicker. Right there is his speed and his tactics that work to his advantage right there as he takes Danny Dollar over with a side headlock. Has it cinched in now. Again, winner to face Eric Wayne, who defeated Gary Graham. Another first-round matchup. Watch this. Danny Dollar tried to sneak one away from Jeremy Moore. We heard comments from Jeremy Moore came out earlier in this broadcast talking about how big and bad he is. And, oh, man, he tasted a big and bad shoulder tackle right there, courtesy of the man from Memphis, Tennessee, Danny Dollar. And Moore completely caught off his game there. I was going to argue with the fans who are giving it right back to the epitome of sports entertainment. We're glad to have you with us as part of RCW Unfinished Business 2016. All the wonderful fans who are here in support of the Cherry Valley Food Pantry. Now, wait a minute, that young man in a mask is hearing it from Jeremy Moore. Moore still wants to argue. Moore needs to concentrate on Danny Dollar. If he doesn't, he will find himself on the losing end and going home early. Or maybe going, but yeah, go back to Hollywood, Florida. Maybe that's what he wants.
I'm not scared of anybody.
Well, take nothing away. He's got a gigantic ego, no doubt about it. But Jeremy Moore is one of the finest athletes in this sport today. There's a reason he holds that particular championship you saw earlier showcased, and there's a reason he was invited. Hence the name Invitational Tournament. Danny Dollar thinks that Jeremy Moore's a chicken, as he was trying to, I believe, indicate that seconds ago. Danny Dollar, I've heard tell that he can dance, but it's not a dance-off here. It's professional wrestling. It's competition. Ringside Championship Wrestling style side headlock takeover by Danny Dollar. 245 pounds from Memphis, and now he is just Jeremy Moore. Jeremy Moore is indeed a pretty boy. I mean, no doubt about that. He likes to make sure each and every hair is in place. His teeth are finely bristled, brushed. He makes sure the white is showcased. And so anytime you do anything like that, as did Danny Dollar messing with the hair, you're messing with the mind of the epitome of sports entertainment himself, Jeremy Moore. Now, wait a minute. I think Danny Dollar's getting a little bit frustrated now. It was the fun and games were over. Danny Dollar said, let's go to work, let's wrestle. He went after Moore. Moore saw the opening, and he took advantage. And once again, I mentioned it at the onset of this matchup, the speed factor. Yes, Danny Dollar has the weight advantage. Probably a little stronger of the two, although Jeremy Moore in great physical condition as well, but it's that stamina that Moore's going to have. And look at this. I just do not like the fact that a guy like Jeremy Moore, a fine athlete that he is, does not need to bend the rules. Yet, right there a minute ago, you saw him choking away at Danny Dollar, taking the shortcuts. Certainly unfortunate. Wait a minute. Danny Dollar is not in good position here. This cannot end well. Oh, man. Slingshot by Moore. Covered. And a 2 count only. With Danny Dollar, the throat, the larynx area on his body, certainly feeling some pain right now. And look at this now. That is an illegal hold. He's gouging the eyes. Jeremy Moore is a dirty, dirty man, but he's been successful. There's a reason he holds championship gold. Clothesline connects. The epitome of sports entertainment wants to win this tournament. 1, 2. And again, referee William Gibson, a senior official here at Ringside Championship Wrestling, indicates it was a 2 count only. Now Jeremy Moore, I think he may have something, a weapon of some sort, some kind of, maybe it's his wrist tape. Looks like it was. That's a wrist tape right there. Oh, he's telling the people to shh, be quiet. Give me a break. Jeremy Moore, if a rule can be bent, he will bend it and break it. Danny Dollar was trying to fire away with some elbows to the midsection, but he got cut off. And once again, with Moore going right to the eyes. Moore is doing some damage here. Once again with the eyes. Come on, Moore. That's unnecessary. Referee arguing with Moore right there a second ago. Big right hand by the epitome of sports entertainment. Keep in mind, somebody will advance to face Dream Killer Eric Wayne in the tournament final here. Cherry Valley Invitational. Moore connected with the top turnbuckle as Danny Dollar moved out of the way. Now Dollar, a house of fire. Double axe handle there after a clothesline. An inverted atomic drop. Jeremy Moore's date isn't going to like that. A second time. Oh! Jeremy Moore is going to be a part of the Vienna Boys Choir singing soprano. Oh, I've lost count. Those jewels are rattled. Oh, and Moore falls face first. Well, we saw Eric Wayne suffer some groin damage in his matchup. And certainly Jeremy Moore. And now, oh, look at this. Jeremy Moore is saying, I don't want any more of you, Danny Dollar. Danny asking the fans, oh, wait a minute, Moore saw an opening. Roll up here, handful of tights, but he gets the victory. Unbelievable. Moore gets the victory. He will advance to the finals of the Cherry Valley Invitational Tournament here at Unfinished Business 2016. Wow.
Wrestling fans in Lebanon, Missouri, get ready for RCW Speedway Slam coming live to the Lebanon I-44 Speedway Saturday, May 6th. Gates open at 6 p.m. It's $15 admission to see 3 big wrestling matches plus all the racing excitement of the Lebanon I-44 Speedway. And what a great special guest we have making a special appearance, WWE Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Your chance to meet him live Saturday, May 6th at Lebanon I-44 Speedway. Plus 3 incredible matches featuring Trevor Murdoch, Lucy Mendez, Superstar Steve Fender, Stacey O'Brien, Brandon Espinoza, and the High Flying Air Raid. All this a part of the big event live Speedway Slam Saturday, May 6th. Gates open at 6 p.m. 3 big wrestling matches, all the racing excitement of Lebanon I-44 Speedway, plus meet a WWE Hall of Famer, all for one low price of $15.